Hi, Vanessa. Good morning to you.
Hi, how are you?
I'm doing great. How are you?
I'm doing well, thank you. And thank you for inviting me here.
Oh, it's my honor and my pleasure. Vanessa, you wrote a book in March this year, 2021, called Pursuing Hope, the story of Justin Hanna, your
Mhm.
beloved son who was only 18. And
Yes.
I would like for you to start telling us about this wonderful book that can help so many mothers in your same situation. And I have a little question that I want to know about Danielle, who wrote your foreword.
Okay. Well, this book is about love, it's about loss. It's about going through a dark place, what I call really dark, and being able to come out on the other side of that with my sanity and my relationship with God intact. And I like to think of it basically as a how-to book, because in that book, I share the steps that I went through in order to get to the other side of that.
That is so nice because we cannot fall into generalities. We need steps. We
Yes.
need strategies. And the fact that you mentioned I can help, I can walk people through the
Yeah.
path that I went through is exactly what we need. And this is,
Yes.
this is what I find sometimes so encouraging, that sometimes years of therapy, like it happened with Sasha's interview the other day, years
Mhm.
of therapy sometimes don't get you from point A to point
Mm.
B. But maybe reading your book or talking to you personally or
Mhm.
contacting you through your ministry, that
Yes.
person can go from making that identity shift and invite God to heal them spiritually and so much quicker, right? Than being
Yes.
12 years in therapy.
That is definitely my hope and my desire and my mission would be to that end that you just described, to be able to
And
help people, provide hope, let them know that if I can do it, I believe that they can make it through too.
that's so hopeful and
Yes.
matches the book, the title of the book so nicely. I would like to say that I loved to read that paragraph from Danielle and how when she learned the sad news of your son's passing on campus when he was a freshman at that university, she wanted to reach out to you
Mhm.
because she had gone through loss as well. She had lost her daughter when she was a baby. So I was wondering, she retells how this happened and
Yeah.
how you approached her after a service at church because the usher said, I want you to meet this person. But how was it that you learned about her? Can you tell us how you met her and how it was just so providential that you met?
Well, it was definitely providential. So after church, the pastor, who is Danielle's husband,
Oh,
Pastor Bird, was greeting people at the door. And so I went over and I introduced myself to him, and he immediately knew who I was because, the story of Justin's accident had covered the campus. So everyone knew. And so it was through Pastor Bird that I met Danielle. He says, my wife wants to meet you. And then he had one of the ushers to lead me to where she was. And that was how we met. I had no idea about their loss.
wow.
Providential.
Yes, absolutely, absolutely. And the fact that she had been trying to reach out to you, but maybe didn't have your contact information. So she must have been so thrilled that day that she could get to meet you so naturally, by her husband uh, telling her that you were
Mhm.
present and that she could talk to you. And was meeting Danielle and this pastor and this particular church, were they instrumental somehow in you deciding to write this book?
Not for writing the book, but they were definitely inspirational. I mean, Danielle's kindness and compassion, we embraced and shared tears and connected, and we're still connected today. So the mission, I would call it, to write the book came directly to me from God.
That's absolutely true. I can see it through the pages.
Yes.
And you know, I loved the word that you used, both of you, Danielle and you, that you were inducted into a club that you didn't want to belong. Who would like to belong to that club of losing a child, right?
Right.
But that is what happens. You know, I don't even know the statistics, but we're not statistics, we're human beings. And we know that this happens, unfortunately. And how wonderful is it that you build this sisterhood? You say,
Yeah.
she is my sister and we are family now.
Yes.
And it is my hope, Danielle, and I'm sending a prayer right now, that you can build this network of sisterhood with all those mothers that are today in the same position. And I have to say it with my heart out, and I will try to keep it together, because I have been crying since last Sunday, and it's not even a week that we had this tragedy in Waukesha. You know, I live in Waukesha County. My city of Oconomowoc is just 25 minutes. And my girls go there all the time. My husband goes shopping there. I taught for the school district as a Spanish teacher and English as a second language. So I'm very close to that community. And knowing that we could have been in that Christmas parade, which is the epitome of peace and love. And this tragedy happened. And now this week, another mother lost an 8-year-old that was struggling for his life at the Wisconsin Children's Hospital. And then another friend, recent friend, told me on the plane, when I was coming back from my second digital marketing conference in Florida, that they were a group of mothers going on a trip as friends, and one of them had lost a daughter to depression, you know, during the pandemic, and how many cases of suicide we have. So all these mothers are grieving.
Yes.
They are grieving. So I would love for Healing Naturally to be one outlet, one outreach for these mothers to get to meet you, to get to read your book, to get to speak to you. And I have also told you that you need to develop your program through e-learning for life. That's my company, because a book, you can build so many things around a book and touch so many lives. So I hope you take me on that.
Yes, I am looking forward to that.
Okay. Now, moving away from Danielle and her wonderful role in your life, I would like for you to expand a little bit more on what you said when you explained the purpose of your mission and the purpose of the book that you wrote. And you also have a podcast and a website. And we're going to include all these links in the comments for this video, okay? In the caption, and for people to contact you through that video as well. Yes. You said there that that God healed you, and your mission was leading others to Christ and restore a broken relationship with Him. Because many times, you know, you're going to answer that question, but my comment is, my observation is, many times people who go through hardship and pain of this magnitude tend to lose faith and stay away from God and build anger and resentment and all those feelings that it makes healing so difficult to happen. So can you tell us a little bit about your approach to healing and restoring your relationship with God?
Well, it does make healing far more complicated when we turn away from God. Now, as I said earlier, I too went through a dark period. But in that dark period, I continued to cry out to God. I was not happy about what happened. I cried out to God, and I went through every stage of grief, I feel, even asking why. And I know that there are some people who believe that we should not ask God why. But I believe that God's shoulders are big enough and his heart is open enough, and he has so much understanding that he receives us even with our why questions. As a matter of fact, Job asked God why like 16 times in Job 7 and Job 9. And God could have interrupted him, he could have stopped him cold in his tracks, but he allowed. So God knows our frailness, and he allows us to ask the questions, why?
Yes.
But that's not where we want to stay. We don't want to live there, but he does allow it as we go through the shadow of death, as we go through our grief process. So turning towards God with everything, with all of those emotions, with the questions, turning towards God, continuing to communicate with him is a big piece in that healing process, for sure.
Believe so. I believe so very much. And
because
also,
we can't handle it on our own.
Yeah.
We can't build ourselves up on our own. It will just leave us in depression. We don't want to stay there.
Absolutely. That is so true and so enlightening. I would say also we ask, why me? Not just why, but why me? Why does everybody else have their children? Why my child in the parade when there were a ton of other children? So unless you understand that there's a purpose, that first of all, God never wanted that.
Never.
And second of all, he is going to heal you anyways. He's going to heal you anyways. Vanessa, you were saying that without God, there's no healing. And I believe that we are a nation of believers for the most part. So this book is a wonderful reminder, and this video is a wonderful reminder for us not to lose that north, okay? We need to put our focus on God. And I want to share my screen to wrap up this video because I know that you're a busy person. And I don't want our audience to think that this is all. I want them to buy your book, to get intrigued by what you said, but what we have covered today. And we might have other videos coming up to cover different aspects of your book, but I want to allow some time for them to go to Barnes & Noble or Amazon or wherever you have your book on your website for sale, and buy it and get it, okay? So now we're having here your book on Barnes & Noble, Pursuing Hope, and they're having a Black Friday deal, so maybe they will have a discount, and a beautiful picture of your son here. What a beautiful book cover that you have there, looking at the sun, the rays like of the Holy Spirit there. But I wanted to focus here on the reviews. You have a 5-star review on Barnes & Noble, and these beautiful comments, a wonderful read, pursuing hope, raw and authentic personal truth, wisdom for life. You won't be disappointed if you buy this book. This book is an inspirational page turner, and it's a powerful story.
Yeah.
a beautifully poignant read. So you got all those comments, Vanessa. Congratulations.
Thank you.
On this wonderful book that tells your story, and that your story doesn't end there, but that you're giving hope that there's a light at the end of the tunnel, and that you can help people get there if they want to be helped. Because we have to remember that Jesus, when Jesus was here, he didn't heal people left and right. He healed those that said, Lord, you can heal me.
Yes.
Right? So I'm going to let you send a brief message, and we will say, stay tuned for the next chapter.
I would like to end this interview by saying to the mothers and the dads as well, and even the siblings, because we hear from siblings in the book also, that it hurts right now. And I want to acknowledge your pain. Sometimes you feel like you're losing your mind, and I want to acknowledge that too. I felt those same things. And those emotions are normal, especially when you've been traumatized, when you go through the trauma of losing a child and even losing a sibling. And my hope is that what you find in the pages of Pursuing Hope, the story of Justin Hanna, will be a true blessing to you and will help you move forward on your grief journey.
That is so nice. That is so nice. And I appreciate having you immensely today, Vanessa. And I'm absolutely positive that this is going to be it is already, for all those that have purchased the book, and will continue to do incredible good in all those souls. And it will become a bestseller. There isn't a better time to have written this book than 2021.
Yes.
So thank you for doing it. Thank you for having all those mothers, fathers, and families in your heart.
Yes.
And God bless you for that. Okay.
Thank you. God bless.